Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, miércoles, el 28 de febrero. No homework is due for today. You do have two things on your radar for Friday. First and foremost is to study for your midterm. Here you can find the study guide for your midterm and everything that will be on it. So review that as we've been reviewing over the past couple weeks. And then also a very brief oral response to the questions numbers 1 through 3 on page 131. And I'm actually going to go ahead and talk about that right now, as some of you may be watching this video specifically for instructions for that. So, ¿y tú qué dices? And you, what do you say? Or what do you think? How would you respond? And again, you're responding orally, verbally to these questions, not written. You can utilize notes or things that you may have written, but you need to produce your answers or submit your answers orally, verbally to these to get speaking practice. So here are the three questions. ¿Cuál es tu comida favorita? ¿El desayuno o el almuerzo? What is your favorite food, or not really favorite food here, but favorite meal? Breakfast or lunch? So again, always when we're trying to figure out how to answer questions, putting it together, that's the hardest part in another language. Use what's in the question to formulate the beginning of your response. And in terms of syntax, the order of the parts of speech being nouns, verbs, adjectives, etc. The syntax in English and Spanish is very similar. So identify the subject in your question. The main subject would be comida favorita. And if you're going to say my favorite meal, tu would change to mi. Mi comida favorita. And then the verb that's in this question would be es. And that's what would come next. Mi comida favorita es. And then choose one of the two. El desayuno. El desayuno. Today we're going to do a Venn diagram talking about things that we have for breakfast. Or el almuerzo, which is lunch. So which of those two, generally speaking, is your favorite meal? And just state it. Mi comida favorita es el desayuno. Mi comida favorita es el almuerzo. And that's it. Number 2, a little bit more specific. ¿Cuál es tu almuerzo favorito? And ¿cuál es tu desayuno favorito? So what is your favorite lunch, your favorite dish for lunch? And what is your favorite dish for breakfast? Again, start off very similar as you did for number 1. Identify your subject. There are 2 questions for number 2. Mi almuerzo favorito es, go back to your Venn diagram that we're going to do today. This is on page 128, organizing the different types of foods and drinks that we have for breakfast and lunch. Mi almuerzo favorito es la hamburguesa.
La hamburguesa.
Just an example. Mi almuerzo favorito es la hamburguesa. Mi desayuno favorito es el cereal.
El cereal.
Yeah, so take a look at the Venn diagram, take a look at the foods that you've identified, that pertain to each el desayuno and el almuerzo, and then choose one of those that's your favorite. Finally, ¿qué frutas te gustan más? What fruits do you like the most? So back to, you could actually go, I think probably easiest, to the end of the chapter. That's page 144, the glossary for chapter 3a. You also have all of this vocabulary highlighted in your graphic organizer, flashcards that you made, the list of things that we eat and drink for breakfast and lunch. You guys have that vocabulary organized as well. But you have fruits kind of scattered throughout the vocabulary, kind of in the middle, mainly pertaining to lunch. They don't mention anything for breakfast, but well, actually they do. El plátano,
El plátano,
las fresas,
las fresas,
la manzana,
la manzana,
la naranja,
la naranja,
and looks like that might be it in terms of fruits. So which of these fruits are your favorite? Let's say hypothetically strawberries. Of course, you're more than welcome to include more than one, but we'll just go with strawberries as an example and go back to page 131, how to answer the question. You're going to change te gustan to what? How do I say, ¿cómo se dice I like in español? Me gustan. So, begin with me gustan más, and then list your favorite fruits. Me gustan más las fresas. Me gustan más las bananas. Me gustan más la manzana y la naranja. Just make sure that you're including a plural form of the fruit because me gustan refers to a plural subject. So that is ejercicio 11. ¿Y tú qué dices? Página 131. These three questions you're responding to orally. Do it as an audio or a video file, and that will suffice for your submission for that assignment. Talking, of course, your daily objective today is to talk and write about what you and others eat and drink for breakfast and lunch. Just a quick review of what we're going to do today. We're going to start with your warm-up exercise 3 on page 127, 127. These are true and false questions that pertain to the video that we're going to watch, El Desayuno. Tomás is visiting from the United States. He's visiting his aunt and uncle, sus tíos, sus primos Raúl y Gloria in Costa Rica, viven in Costa Rica. And there are some assumptions that Mama has about Tomás and his dietary habits being from the United States. So these are true and false questions that pertain to that video. You guys are going to follow along in the script and just quite simply indicate as to whether each statement is cierto, true, or falso. And then if it's incorrect, how would you change it to make it read true? Okay, that's on pages 126, 127. As I alluded to before, on page 128, you guys are going to make a Venn diagram utilizing this picture here of a kitchen and what foods pertain to el desayuno and which pertain to el almuerzo, breakfast and lunch. But they're going to use that page, or picture rather, to do a little listening comprehension practice. 8 statements using prepositions of place, al lado de, encima de, debajo de, enfrente de, detrás de. Those prepositions of place to indicate proximity or location. Be great listening practice for you. And then we'll finish with activities 6 and 7, where you guys are going to take a look at these different beverages and dishes, and then follow the model and use these adverbs of frequency to say how often you guys eat each of these items and drink.